Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'd like to do some work on this ginseng ficus. It's been in my possession for quite a few years now. I did a repot this year. I planted some rocks to give it some more character and to hide some of the roots that are not exactly the way I like roots to be. And well, now I'd like to do something about the trunk to make it look more like a tree and less like a shrub. Therefore, I need to have a look at the trunk line, and as you see, most of these ginseng ficuses, they have leaves growing straight on the tree. So I must remove these ones and I must remove the ones on the branches. So let's come a little closer and see what we can do. So you see this tree has a big scar here, an even bigger scar here. So this is supposed to be the back, and it's possible. But first of all, let's remove some of the little leaves on the branches and on the trunk when these leaves are not part of a branch. So this could take a few seconds. I'm leaving just a little stump on every little leaf, but this way I can clean up the whole tree and it will give me a better idea of how I can proceed with the wiring. See, so we have no branching here, just one branch, which is okay, but it doesn't give maturity. So I need to remove a few of the leaves. This is a branch, little one, but it might be interesting, I don't know. So I want at least 1 or 2 centimeters of branch on every branch, and by saying branch I mean a part where there is no leaf. It's quite possible to just break them off. It's going to be a whole lot faster, so let's do that. I'm going to try to zoom in a little. Might be more pleasant for you, like so. So this is the trunk line, and as you see, the trunk is very thin, and that of course is not desirable, and the base is very thick, which is good, but we should try to have some more balance here. So I'm going to continue at the top. Probably a part of the top will have to go, because if you want the tree to look a little more mature, it's better to lower it a bit. It makes the trunk look thicker and it makes it look a little older, therefore. So now for the branching, removing some leaves. Okay, back at the bottom now. This looks good. Here you see we have tons of little leaves that we do not need, and leaves that just are growing on the thick branch. This is a little branch, so this I will not touch. And now in the back, So I'm trying to liberate the branches from the little leaves, so that I can wire it if I think that it is necessary, or at least do a selection of the branches. I probably missed a few, but while I'm wiring I can of course still remove a few. I think it's starting to become okay. Yeah, maybe this one. Okay, so I'll have to clean this up, but let's see what we have now. Okay, by just removing all these leaves from the trunk line appears more clearly, and it makes the whole thing look more like a tree. Now, what do we see here? We lack a whole lot of branches. Luckily there's a branch in the back here. This looks okay. I have 3 or 4 branches. Well, that's too much, but one thing I'm not sure of is that I'm going to lower the tree up to this part or up to this part. So, well, I might even think here, but I don't think that helps a whole lot. But let's start by removing the top part, which is this one. And I still think that the tree is too high. I could make this a new leader and use this as a back branch, but it's too high. So let's go down a little more. Maybe just remove this little one too, like so. Okay, so this might become the new leader, and then this becomes a back branching, etc. So that's a possibility, but it's still quite high. Let me have a look from a distance. This is not bad, but could I just get it lower? Now, okay, so we are going to do the old Peter Chan trick. Well, he says he invented it, but it's old as the world, and I'm going to search a bag or a towel or a cloth, something, to hide the upper portion. I'll be right back. Okay, so before someone starts yelling at me, I love Peter Chan. I bought his books in the 90s, and he's one of the guys that got me really into bonsai, so no critics on the genius. So I think this looks okay. It lowers the tree quite a lot, but of course this should become a top, which is possible, and this can be a back branch or side. Same for here. So this gives me quite a lot of possibilities, and I'm going to do that. So sometimes it's better not to think too long and just do the cuts. Okay. If I look at the trunk now, it's not bad at all. This could be a nice front, but maybe I'd like to have some movement in this portion here. So I'm going to take a piece of rather thick wire and bend this a little to the side and then back to here. So let me get some wire. My wire and my glasses, that's what I need to work nowadays. So I'm going to try to fix the wire a little in the ground from the back. I'm going straight up because there's no need to turn around this thing 5 times. It's not gonna help. Okay. This thick portion, I do not want to bend it, so I can get over it quite fast too. And now I have to think, so I want this to come a little more like that, so I need a piece of wire here at the outposts. Okay, and I want to come back, wait a minute, over or under this. So this comes this way and this should come, so I try to get under it, yeah, and then going to wire this one very loosely. And so this little branch here becomes a back branch. So I want some branching here. This becomes the trunk. So I want to see some trunk. You see, I'm not touching the wood here. I'm just going around it. It's very difficult to do that with copper wire, so I still like to use aluminum. Okay, so now let's give it some movements. I'd like from here to get a little more to that side, and of course I'm overdoing it. And I need it to go a little more to the back. I need this to come more here again to make some acceptable S shape, and this can be a little higher. So this is the trunk line, a little movement to here, we are coming back and we're going this way. I think that's not bad. And again, I'm overdoing it on purpose, because I know that they will bounce back. So I'm going to take some little wires now, just to position some of the branches. It's starting to rain, but it's just a few little drops. Now, before I start to wire, I will have a look at this portion. So you see, we have a thick trunk here, and this branch is on this thick portion. As you see, it's here. So it does a good job in closing this wound, which will be closed in 150 years. And then I have a little branch above, which is on the small trunk. Now I prefer to have the branch on the small trunk, because it's going to balance out the trunk. So I'm going to remove this. Of course, the wire is now a little bit in my way, but with small tools this should work. So that's good. Same here. I'm not too keen about this branch for the same reason. You see, it's closing the gap, so that's good, but it's on the thick trunk and I don't like it, so I'm going to remove it. So there's not a whole lot left of this tree now, but I think it was about time that I did some serious work on it. So now I have this very long branch here that I must shorten. You will agree on that. And for the rest, this doesn't look too bad, except for the fact that I have 3 branches here. Well, they're not exactly in the same position, but almost. Maybe I'll just remove the tips to get some more ramification. This is very weak, so I'm going to leave it. This can fatten a little, so I'm not going to touch it. Here, removing the tip. Here also removing the tip. Here I cut it short. This should be wired, and this should be cleaned up. Now, if this is the top, I'm not going to need this one. This can be a side branch, this can be a back branch, and this can be also a back branch. This is quite okay, but I'm just going to remove the tip. Okay, now let's do some wiring. It's not just to put the branches where I want them, it's also to give them some movement, because if they stay completely straight, it's not going to be very attractive. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little twist. I'm crossing branches here, I know, I don't care. This is absolutely not show ready, so it just has to do the job, and that's all. Okay, so that's one. This one, and no, these two maybe, yeah. So a few twists here. Try not to crush the leaves, so it's better to remove some than crushing them. It's autumn, and well, this tree is going to stay outside, strangely, but I did it last winter and it went quite good. I just had to watch the weather when it started to freeze. Okay, I'm going to put this, no, I'm going to leave it this way. Okay, just one down, and if I can get one up, I'll be very happy. So that's what I need. Not going to make it too tight, like so. This one and this one. Again. Always better to wire two branches to give an anchor point. It's not gonna do a whole lot, but this might help to shape the tree. And I think it's about time that this happens. Like so. This branch is in a fairly good position, this one too, but not this one, and so I'm going to try to wire these two together, and I'm going to need something like this. I'm going to start under this branch to give it a good anchor point. Like so. Just needs to come down a little, so and again the wiring is not world class, but at this point it doesn't matter at all. One thing I can also see is that the top is maybe a little too much bending towards the viewer, so I might adjust that just a little. Okay, so this is too much. I'm going to set it a little straighter and maybe just get this part to the viewer. This should become a back branch, and I hope that it splits up so it gets back and side. This has to fill the hole here. This is quite okay. I'm just going to bend it down a little. This is very straight, so because this is a broadleaf tree, I'm going to put this up and then put it down, which makes this nice natural curve. Same here, putting it up and then getting it down. Same here. So this looks a whole lot better, I think. Well, it's more natural. Now we have two branches that are coming from the same spot here. So this is not really what I want. I'm going to put that one here. So it looks higher. And this one is where it should be. Now we have one of the main problems, one of the main beginner problems, because people always hear that you should see the trunk. Now this looks a little bit too naked, so I'm going to put the side branches a little bit to the front so that we can so that when it grows, the purpose is that the trunk is partly hidden, so it makes some more mystery. You see, when you have to imagine where the trunk is, it's more interesting. So this is not bad. This could be a little more in the back, like this and like this. And I think that I'm almost where I want to be now. So let's clean this pot up and I'll be back in a second. So this is how the tree looks today. It's quite a difference, but we have something that looks more like a tree than we had in the beginning. It still needs a lot of growing and it still needs to mature, but I think that this is not a bad start for this tree. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it and see you next time.